Pukeology Podcast, where science meets your hilarious puke stories and the tips and tricks to stop that up-chuckle that you need.
You never know what's going to spew out of her mouth. Here's
my mama,
Dr. Pukeology.
So, you're pregnant, and to be honest with you, if you have a scheduled C-section, you probably are going to end up needing a spinal. So what is this whole spinal anesthesia thing about? Well, today we're going to actually go into the ultimate guide for spinal anesthesia in regards to a C-section. So if you're going to have a delivery and you already know that your baby is frank breached or whatever it may be, this is the perfect podcast for you. And secondarily, if you want to learn more about morning sickness, pregnancy nausea, headaches, or migraines, just go visit our sponsor, nomonausea.com. Again, that's nomonausea.com. It's the only essential oil-infused acupressure wristband that instantly stops your worst upset stomach, nausea, vomiting, and or headaches in seconds. And they have some stuff for sleep. It's called Nomo Sleepless Nights that works for kids too. All right, not only that, but today you will actually end up taking away quite a few things about the science behind what the heck is an epidural, how does it function, and why would you need one versus another one? Plus, how long does it last? So get ready for episode 98, the ultimate guide for spinal anesthetic C-sections. Let's go.
The science of puke, pukeology.
It is a one-shot technique. What this one-shot technique as a spinal actually is, it's important that you kind of understand that the medication that we give, right, you have to make sure that you know how tall your patient potentially is, or if you are the patient, right, not only how tall the patient is, but what are you going to actually administer? Because of the fact that we want to make sure that you get numb all the way up, so that any of the pulling or tugging that happens with the C-section is basically not felt that way. Okay, so let's go through the let's go through the spinal one more time. First, what we do is we give a local anesthetic. Local anesthetic is that numbing medication that we give to the back to make sure, it's kind of like a bee sting, and to make sure that you don't feel anything thereafter. Secondarily, once that is nice and numb in that area, we will then use an introducer. Introducer just is a fancy word for, hey, it's a guided piece. We then put the actual spinal in until we feel boop. That pop or that field technique is the actual dura, and then we should start to see yellow, or it's like clearish yellowish. It's not really supposed to be yellow, but it's like it has this opaque, I think opaque is a better word, look to it. So if we pull back from this medication that we have, you would actually see it swirling, and that's the way that we know that it is in the correct spot. Then we take that medication and we push it right there, take everything else out, and that is it. And that is what we are called a spinal. So let's go through some frequently asked questions and also some helpful hints. All right, here we go.
Tips and tricks to stop the up-chuckle that you need.
These are rapid-fire spinal anesthesia frequently asked questions. Number 1, is spinal anesthesia safe for C-sections? Yes, when it is administered by a trained anesthesia provider. So again, there's anesthesiologists, there's CRNAs, there's AAs, there's a bunch of different types of anesthesia providers, but as long as they are trained, yes, that it is. And it is done by a field technique. Can you see the different vertebrae with an actual imaging? Yes, you can, but the vast majority of us have all learned on what's called a blind technique, not because we are actually blind, but because of the fact that we are not using any other device or tool other than the feel to make sure that we feel that pop whenever we actually are able to take the CSF out. How quickly does the spinal anesthesia take effect during the actual C-section? Well, spinal anesthesia takes usually within a couple minutes, providing for very quick pain relief. So what that means is if you are contracting and you go and get a spinal, the second the spinal starts working, usually within like 30 seconds or so, you're going to go, wow, I don't feel the contractions anymore. And then third, a spinal itself plays a very important role in ensuring the pain. Pain relief is the only thing that the actual spinal is going to take away. So when they go to cut you, you will not feel a thing. And we make sure and we test you to make sure that you are appropriately blocked for it. And then last but not least, by understanding that pressure is something that you will feel prior to the baby being born. Sometimes people say it feels like someone's sitting on their chest. When I had my spinal, I said it felt like minions were working on me and that I couldn't take a real big deep breath. But don't worry, we're watching you to make sure that you are breathing appropriately and that you have enough oxygen for you and the baby and that you're doing really well. Always remember, talk to your anesthesia provider and make sure that you ask and answer any questions that you potentially have. So happy birthing day. It's a beautiful day in the laborhood. I'm so glad I was able to help you with all things that are the ultimate guide to C-sections. So do me a favor, if you know somebody who is pregnant, tell them about Pregnancy Pukeology Podcast and let them know, or give me hearts for likes, or share this with your favorite pregnant friends. Thanks again, and can't wait to do it from the next one.
Pukeology Podcast, Edutainment at its finest.